Right now, thousands of people are walking into dealerships, sitting down with a salesperson, and about to hand over anywhere from $37,000 to $80,000 for an electric vehicle they have not fully researched. And here is the brutal truth. Most of those people are about to make a decision they will regret inside of 18 months. Not because EVs are bad, but because in 2026, the gap between the EVs worth owning and the ones that will quietly drain your wallet, frustrate you on road trips, and fall apart before they hit 40,000 miles has never been wider. Today, we are cutting through all of that noise. We have gone through the data from Consumer Reports, Edmunds, Kelley Blue Book, JD Power, Cars.com, and US News to build you the only list that matters right now. The 5 electric vehicles that actually deserve your money in 2026. If you are planning to buy an EV this year, or even if you're just thinking about it, what I'm about to tell you could save you thousands. Let's get into it. Before we do, if you are new here, hit that subscribe button and tap the bell. We cover real car buying decisions with real data on this channel every week. You will want to be here for every single one of them. Now, I want to make one thing very clear before we count down. There are dozens of EVs on the market in 2026. Some of them look incredible. Some of them have jaw-dropping specs on paper, but looking great on a spec sheet and actually being a smart purchase in the real world are two completely different things. We are not choosing cars based on which one has the flashiest press release. We're choosing them based on range, real-world charging speed, reliability data from actual owners, long-term value, and daily livability. These are the 5 that pass every single test. Starting at number 5. Number 5, the 2026 Chevrolet Equinox EV. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. A Chevy on a best of list? But here's the thing, and this is the moment where a lot of EV shoppers get it completely wrong. The Equinox EV is not the car you walk past at the dealership because the badge does not excite you. It is the car that quietly, consistently outperforms vehicles that cost $10,000 to $15,000 more, and the numbers prove it. The 2026 Equinox EV starts at just $36,795, according to Kelley Blue Book. That is not a typo. Under $37,000 for an electric SUV that delivers an EPA-rated 319 miles of range. Think about what that number means in real life. You could drive from Los Angeles to Las Vegas and back without stopping to charge. And when you do stop, the 2026 model now comes with an NACS connector, meaning you have access to Tesla's supercharger network, the largest, most reliable fast charging infrastructure in North America. That was not available on earlier Equinox EVs. It's a massive upgrade. On the inside, Chevrolet put a 17.7-inch touchscreen in this thing that runs Google built-in natively. That is a bigger screen than you'll find in most luxury vehicles. The infotainment is fast, the voice recognition actually works, and Google Maps handles charging stop routing automatically on road trips. Consumer Reports tested the Equinox EV and found 304 miles of highway range at 70 miles per hour. Not the EPA estimate, real-world highway speed range. The 2026 model also has what reviewers are calling the best one-pedal driving calibration in the segment. Better than Tesla, better than Hyundai. When you lift off the accelerator, the regenerative braking is so smooth and so intuitive that most owners report they barely touch the brake pedal after the first week. And here's the financial reality nobody is talking about loudly enough. Kelley Blue Book users rate this car 5 out of 5 for reliability, and one owner who has put 10,000 miles on it said, and I'm paraphrasing directly, that it has saved him roughly $2,500 a year compared to his previous gas vehicle when you factor in fuel and maintenance savings. That's $2,500 a year every year, on top of the lower purchase price. The Equinox EV is not exciting, it's smarter than exciting, and in 2026, smart money buys engineering, not branding. But wait until you see what's coming at number 1. That one is going to change how you think about EV value entirely. Number 4, the 2026 Ford Mustang Mach-E. And before anyone in the comments says anything, yes, we know it is not a real Mustang. We know. But here is what it is. It is one of the most consistently recommended electric SUVs by every major automotive authority in America right now. Consumer Reports recommends it. Edmunds recommends it, and when you dig into why, it becomes very hard to argue with. The Mach-E has something that most EVs completely sacrifice in the name of range and efficiency. It is genuinely fun to drive. The steering is sharp, the handling is confident. It does not feel like piloting a household appliance, it feels like a car. And in the GT and rally trims, it feels like a very quick car. Ford built the Mach-E with real drivers in mind, and that philosophy shows up every time you get behind the wheel. But it is not just about driving feel. The Mach-E offers a long, competitive range, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto connectivity, something Tesla still refuses to include in any of its vehicles, and an interior that has improved meaningfully over the last 2 years. Ford has been listening to owner feedback and updating the software over the air, which means the car you buy today is actually better than the one that rolled off the line 2 years ago. On paper, the Mach-E looks like a wildly aerodynamic, aggressively styled electric sedan. In reality, it is the most practical, most efficient, and arguably the most reassuring long-distance EV you can buy under $55,000 in 2026. The only real drawback? The trunk opening is a little narrow and rear headroom is snug for very tall passengers. Those are real negatives, but they pale next to what this car does on the open road. And before we get to numbers 2 and 1, which are the two that truly shocked our team when we ran the data, if you're getting value from this video so far, hit that like button. It takes 1 second and it helps us keep putting out research like this every single week. Number 3, the 2026 Hyundai Ioniq 6. Let me give you a number first. 361 miles. That is the EPA-rated range of the Ioniq 6 long-range rear-wheel drive with 18 inches. 361 miles on a single charge. According to Consumer Reports' own independent 70-mile-per-hour highway testing, the Ioniq 6 actually exceeded its EPA estimates, something that almost no other EV on the market can claim. And the charging speed on this car is almost unfair to the competition. The Ioniq 6 peaks at 350 kilowatts on a DC fast charger. That means it can go from 10% to 80% in as little as 18 minutes. Think about that. You stop for a coffee on a road trip. By the time you've ordered, waited, and walked back to the car with your cup in hand, the Ioniq 6 has already added over 150 miles of range. In Consumer Reports' own charging test, the Ioniq 6 added 180 miles of range in a single 30-minute session at an Electrify America station. No other EV in this price range comes close to that number. The Ioniq 6 also beats the Tesla Model 3, its most direct competitor, in ride comfort, cabin quietness, and infotainment usability, according to Consumer Reports' side-by-side testing. US News & World Report currently ranks the Ioniq 6 number 1 in its electric car rankings. Pricing starts around $42,850 for the base model and tops out near $51,100 for the fully loaded Limited. And Hyundai backs every battery with a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. That is the kind of confidence that other manufacturers simply do not offer. On paper, the Ioniq 6 looks like a wildly aerodynamic, aggressively styled electric sedan. In reality, it is the most practical, most efficient, and arguably the most reassuring long-distance EV you can buy under $55,000 in 2026. The only real drawback? The trunk opening is a little narrow and rear headroom is snug for very tall passengers. Those are real negatives, but they pale next to what this car does on the open road. And before we get to numbers 2 and 1, which are the two that truly shocked our team when we ran the data, if you're getting value from this video so far, hit that like button. It takes 1 second and it helps us keep putting out research like this every single week. Number 2. The 2026 Tesla Model Y, and specifically the Juniper refresh version. Here is something that most EV reviews are not saying loudly enough. The 2026 Model Y is genuinely, substantially better than the 2024 version. Tesla did not just slap new headlights on it and call it a day. The The Juniper update brought a retuned suspension that is more compliant, acoustic glass for a noticeably quieter cabin, upgraded interior materials that no longer feel like they belong in a vehicle half the price, and new front and rear styling that is significantly cleaner and more modern. Consumer Reports tested the AWD long-range version and recorded 331 miles at 70 miles per hour on the highway. Edmunds tested the long-range AWD and found a 0 to 60 time of 4.2 seconds. The performance model gets there in 3.3 seconds. That is supercar acceleration in a family SUV body. The 2026 Model Y starts at $39,990 for the rear-wheel drive base version, and the long-range AWD sits at $50,380. And here is the number that makes this car almost impossible to ignore: the nationwide supercharger network. Tesla has built over 60,000 supercharger stalls across North America. No other automaker is even close. When you buy a Model Y, you are not just buying a car, you are buying access to the most reliable, most widespread DC fast charging infrastructure on Earth. Road trips in this car are genuinely effortless in a way they simply are not in many competing EVs, where you are hunting for working CCS chargers and hoping none of them are out of service. J.D. Power gave the 2026 Model Y a predicted reliability rating, and reviewers across Cars.com, Edmunds, and US News have praised the ride quality improvements in this update specifically. The controls are still heavily touchscreen dependent, and the lack of Apple CarPlay is still frustrating in 2026. But if you can live with those two things, this remains the electric SUV by which every other electric SUV is measured. And the one sitting at number 1 is the car most EV shoppers literally walk straight past, the one that costs more up front, but that independent data shows gives you more for every dollar in the segment it competes in. Let's talk about it. Number 1. The 2026 BMW iX, specifically the xDrive 45. And I can already see some of you reaching for the comments section, but stay with me for exactly 60 seconds, because the data here is going to reframe how you think about EV value. The BMW iX xDrive 45 starts at $75,150. That is expensive, but here is what Consumer Reports recorded when they put it through their 70-mile-per-hour highway range test: 370 miles. In the real world, on the highway, at speed, the BMW iX delivered 370 miles of range. That is more than the Tesla Model X, more than the Audi e-tron GT, more than almost every other luxury EV you can name. And for 2026, BMW lowered the base price of the xDrive 45 while simultaneously raising its output to 402 horsepower. It now hits 60 miles per hour in under 5 seconds from a standing start. Consumer Reports describes it as very speedy and quiet, with bump absorption that beats virtually everything in its class, and a luxury cabin that is genuinely unique, not just nice, but architecturally different from any other vehicle on the road. Now, here is the truth about the iX that most reviewers gloss over, because the headline price scares them away. When you look at the total cost of ownership calculation, fuel savings, zero maintenance costs on an engine that does not exist, the avoidance of transmission repairs, coolant flushes, and oil changes, the gap between a $75,000 BMW iX and a $55,000 gasoline-powered BMW X5 narrows dramatically over a 5-year ownership period. Consumer Reports research consistently shows that EV owners save between $6,000 and $10,000 over the life of the vehicle compared to gas equivalents. On a car you plan to own for 5 to 7 years, that math becomes very, very compelling. The iX is not perfect. The exterior styling will not be for everyone. Some of the interior controls take getting used to, but what you get in return is a genuinely extraordinary driving experience. Whisper quiet, deeply fast, supremely comfortable, wrapped in a 370-mile real-world range figure that eliminates every shred of range anxiety in one number. This is the EV that luxury buyers have been waiting for, and the ones who are smart enough to look past the badge anxiety and actually run the numbers are the ones driving off in it while everyone else stands in line for something louder and flashier. So let's quickly recap, because this is the information that could save you real money in 2026. Number 5 is the Chevrolet Equinox EV, the smart money buy, starting under $37,000 with 319 miles of range and the best one-pedal driving in the segment. Number 4 is the Ford Mustang Mach-E, the car that proves EVs can be genuinely fun to drive without sacrificing practicality. Number 3 is the Hyundai Ioniq 6, the range efficiency champion that charges from 10 to 80% in 18 minutes and ranks number 1 in the US News electric car rankings. Number 2 is the 2026 Tesla Model Y, the Juniper refresh that finally addresses the complaints that held the previous version back, still backed by the unmatched supercharger network. And number 1 is the BMW iX xDrive 45, the car most people walk straight past that delivers 370 real-world highway miles, 402 horsepower, and a cabin that redefines what quiet feels like in a moving vehicle. The electric vehicle market in 2026 is the best it has ever been, but it is also more confusing than it has ever been. The winners on this list are not here because they have the best commercials or the most social media coverage. They are here because when independent testers put them on the road and real owners drove them for 10,000, 20,000, and 30,000 miles, they held up. They delivered on the promise. That is all that matters when you are writing a check for $40,000 or $80,000 of your money. Which one of these 5 surprised you the most, or are you already driving one of them? Drop your story in the comments right now. I read every single one. If this video helped you, share it with someone you know who is on the fence about going electric. This might be exactly what they needed to make the right decision. I will see you in the next one.